Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So, we are just going to give people just a few minutes to come into the room. As we're doing that, I want to go ahead and thank my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my content. A special thank you to my VIP patrons. Um, Ray and Daniel. Also, don't forget that you guys can get all of my merch in the links in the description box below. Hey Latoria, hey Pilu, hey Doc Boss, hey Maurice. All right, y'all. So hopefully, as everyone is doing well, we're gonna let people slowly come into the room. Hey Dave, hey Stefan. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, as some of you know and probably have already been talking about today, is the things going on with the hacked pipeline. So, uh, this is according to well, originally according to NBC News and MSN got this from NBC News. The White House urged Americans not to hoard gas Tuesday as the Colonial Pipeline, a major supplier of fuel to the southeast, remained largely shut down for a fifth day following a ransomware attack by hackers on Friday. Okay. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said that these areas most impacted by the pipeline closure, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and South Virginia, will likely experience a supply crunch, but not a gasoline shortage. Much as there was no cause for hoarding toilet paper at the beginning of the pandemic, there should be no cause for hoarding gasoline, especially in light of the fact that the pipeline should be substantially operational by the end of this week and over the weekend. So, y'all probably have already been seeing about this. Gas prices have already been jumping. So just imagine what this is going to do. Okay, some people in their small towns are already saying that they can't get gas. The sad part about this is that at this point, we never even know if our own government is lying to us or not, right? Even from the whole, oh well, you don't need masks, to yes you do, we just lied because we needed the medical professionals to have them. You never really know. So the best thing is always preparation. Hey the writer, hey Edward, hey Diva, hey Marcus, thank you Marcus. Hey Jupiter. um but yeah, so some people are already noticing these gas shortages. I don't know where y'all live. You also have a this fear that gets ingrained when these things like this happen, and so it's kind of like the same thing that we've seen happen recently here with firearms. Not only do you have this huge surge of new gun owners, and when something comes out in the media like, oh, Biden is gonna take your whatever, people run to get the whatever that may be. So same thing we're going to see with gas, this whole hacking thing, like, you know, in terms of our infrastructure, and then when you look at even the possibility of the current administration being snuggled up to places like China and things like this. I saw somebody post today, right? The rapper No Name. That's like her rap name. If y'all don't know, she's most most notorious for this somewhat not even really a beef with J. Cole, the rapper that allegedly made this song about her and all this. But anyway, um, you know, she posted this tweet today and was like, it's laughable that so many people think that uh, uh, the United States is gonna last another 50 years and things like this. And I'm thinking about this as it relates to like what we're seeing more and more of, like, just tragedies and disasters and a government that has been failing in a lot of regards. And I, just saw people retweeting, and I saw some of the comments acting like, if this happens, they're gonna be sitting back, eating popcorn, things like this. I'm like, it still hasn't clicked for a lot of people. Like, I think a lot of people don't get it. I think with some of the right propaganda, the like the idea of America, the American dream, I think in a lot of ways, even the people that hate America have also been propagandized in this way that we've been so shielded for what it really means to even the idea of another country occupying your territory. Like the idea of America being overtaken. And you'll have people that'll sit on here on Twitter and laugh and think it's funny. But these people will be the same people. You don't own a gun. You don't have a skill. You will brag about wanting to abolish the police, but know nothing about even protecting yourself or your own home, don't know how to grow food, don't know how to harvest water, are lacking all of these hard skills. Like, if ish really hits the fan and I have to live, it's really lost on people how much of a bubble that we are in. And you can say, oh, your life has been so rough. Your life has been so hard. As hard as your life may have been, you still most likely, particularly people in my demographic, do not know how it feels to live under a regime change, right? To live as your, like, for I don't, regardless of how individualistic that we like to believe that we are, a lot of ways these things are interconnected. This is why I always remind people, it may not be affecting you right now, but if it is happening in this sphere, if it is happening in this country, especially as it relates to politics, it is coming for you. So the idea, just the idea, the concept of actual, real, hard food shortages, gas shortages, the fall of America is no freaking laughing matter. Particularly, it's like, when I see Black Americans kind of talking about these things lightly, as if you really think that, I don't know if people think some other country is gonna come in, swooping in and treat you favorably, right? Like, even this whole like democratic POC forced cup of like we are the world type thing. In Tokyo right now, they already telling y'all they not with this whole Black Lives Matter. They don't care about your little stop the Asian hate hashtag in the Americas. They don't care about whatever y'all are privileged enough to be social justicing about right now. They not having none of that. Don't bring that there. And so these are really things to think about. I don't care how much you try to other yourself from America, or try to act like you're not in America as you're living in America. If something that drastic is to happen, you are crazy to think that you will be, not impacted, unimpacted. So hopefully, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, we just never know what's going to happen, and the best mindset that people can have is preparation, whether that's learning new skills or expanding the ways we're thinking about this outside of just hashtagging and, oh, I made this good meme or I put out this fire tweet, and not even really internalizing the messages that we should be receiving from these things, right? Like, even just looking at COVID, how the government can come in and shut your business down and basically in a lot of ways leave you to fend for yourself. Like, all right, whatever, we may give you this loan, you probably will have to pay it back, but you'll figure it out, champ. This is not a laughing matter. And as my demographic, the group of people that in a lot of ways, when you look at where we live in these inner cities, we know that the stuff, anything that bad that pops off there first and the worst. Right? Just generally not working up to having a lot of these. And when I'm talking about survival skills, I'm talking about real hardcore, like starting a fire. Something as simple, starting a fire from scratch. And we've seen that when something goes down, government is not always the best option. Like, let's be real, it's voluntarism. A lot of times you have people right in your community, people right around you that are able to get to you before the president even think of sending the National Guard or doing this or doing that, right? So whether we're looking at Katrina or COVID or the Texas snowstorms, it's just no laughing matter. And when you are behind, right? Like, even some of the trivial things we focus on, even the most trivial. I just recently did a podcast over there, and he may be in the chat. Costly Conversations with Armed Atlas. And that podcast, it should be coming out any day now. And, he was just asking me, I can't remember the exact question he asked me, but I remember my response, like, bruh, I don't have time to worry about, like, who doesn't like me, who says something mean or non-favorable on Twitter. I don't give a crap what Gucci put on their sweater. Like, we don't have time to concern ourselves with such trivial things when our freaking kids, our little boys, are failing at reading. Our little boys are being pushed to be turned into little girls. We have people that don't know how to protect themselves, their sisters, their daughters, the women in the community, where we are calling freaking outsiders. You call a outsider. Now you are at the mercy of this outsider you call, and now you have the audacity to sit here and be mad about how they handle something that nobody in your community could handle? Really? I gotta worry about teaching my people. If you are going to quote unquote defend yourself, you need to know if you're gonna call an outsider to show up to this event, because now you're at their mercy. You at least need to know what the heck you need to say to them as they're pulling up, as they're arriving, so you can save your life. That's what I need to concern myself with. Not these trivial, did Will Smith get a freaking Oscar? Was I represented on TV? Our sons can't read. This pandemic has led to more poverty. 50% of Black owned businesses projected to not even return. And people sitting up tweeting, having a good time talking about the falling of America. We really think we ready for that? Like, seriously? Like, is this a joking matter? So instead of engaging people to learn skills that are a necessity to communal living, we want to hashtag and tweet and make fun and have a good time like it's some type of otherization. And you know, this girl, she got a blue check. Hell, I don't know. She may have enough money so when stuff go down to just get on her private jet and go wherever. But a lot of us, unfortunately, don't have, we don't have it like that. So hopefully we are getting to where people will have a preemptive, a forward thinking mindset, right? Where it's not all this hoarding and panic buying. I remember telling my mom, even way before COVID went down, like, even before the Texas snowstorms, all this, stock up on water, stock up on non-perishables, right? Like, so I don't know, y'all. Like, you know, and some of y'all may be going through this. I don't know. Let me know. But I feel like I'm kind of going through this phase in my life where it's like, I just don't, I so much I don't know. I get down on myself, not down on myself, but I will be a little rough on myself because I'm like, I just, it's so much I feel like I need to learn and I have to learn, in a short time to be more useful to my family, to my community. You know what I mean? And you will have people that will complain about the states of our community, but your actions don't reflect what you're saying. And so I feel like I'm going into this zone of like, I don't want to be bothered with such trivial matters. And people take it as like, oh, you so serious. And don't get me wrong, people that know me know I laugh a lot, like almost sometimes like too much. You know, I like to have a good time. I like to, enjoy the people around me, my loved ones, stuff like that. And I'm chill. And I actually be joking a lot, in real life. However, sometimes people think like, oh, you're so serious, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, because I even in my free time, like I spend a lot of time like watching stuff and reading stuff. And I guess people I don't have time to worry about what Portia Williams is doing. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, until I'm way more proficient at like this firearm stuff and I just feel like I'm good with it, until I'm at the point where I've got like this huge water supply, they're already what do you call it when they're like they're putting little hints on the TV and stuff like that? It's like some type of programming, right? They're already hinting, and we're going to be running out of water. There are going to be water shortages. There are going to be wars over water. Like, do y'all understand? Do you understand what I'm saying here? There are going to be wars over water. I don't, I don't know what's going on with Portia Williams. I'm sorry. I'm out the loop. I'm uncool. You know, not with the cool kids. Not popular enough. I'm over here trying to figure out when people start warring over water, how I can make sure that my family and I, like, we're good. But that's too serious. That's too political. You know. I can't do nothing but pray. What more can you do than that? Jupiter said, funny thing is, cyber attack was planned for a hidden agenda for the green energy plan to implement. Y'all know that's another thing we got to keep our eye on. Like, you know, some people are saying this pipeline thing is a distraction and this and the other. We always have a lot of hands moving, you know, behind the curtains. You know, don't look at the man behind the curtains. And, you know, the green energy thing, they've been trying to implement this and kind of get it in over time. I think I need to do an actual new video of just breaking down that whole thing. Even green energy plan, right? Calling it that. But in a lot of ways, you know, not only have some of these things not, and I'm not going to say all of them, but some of these things have not been actually proven uh to fix an issue, or like they can exacerbate, you know, the opposite way, right? Like now, like how they stopped us from using paper bags, we started using plastic. Now it's like, oh well, plastic is hurting the earth, but the paper bags were hurting the trees, you know what I mean? So it's like you're not accounting for, you know, going the opposite direction. And so I think I need to just do a full breakdown of how, in a lot of ways, these things are, you know, exploitation as far as taxes. We saw how this went with the French in Paris, in France. You know, as the Yellow Jacket protesters, I did a lot of content around that time about that, because at the same time they was talking to us about this Green New Deal here, it's like I'm maybe y'all don't know because y'all not really covering it on U.S. media, but as U.S. media is talking about all this green energy stuff we should do, I'm looking at how this is impacting the middle class right in France, right? So those are just some things to think about. Jupiter said people in Israel are living that real life, right? Exactly. People gonna, some people don't get it till they get it. And I don't want to have to get it for other people to get it, if you know what I'm saying. Thank you to Ryder Walker. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Jupiter, for the super chat. Who said, our people need to consider building our ownership housing communities before the real resource and inflation war begins. Like, gas is up, food is going up, stock market, you know, is going down. So yes, the unfortunate part about it is that in a time, you know, in times like these, you will have a lot of millionaires and billionaires that will be able to increase their wealth, right, by not only supplying things that people need, right, but, you know, even the government shielding some of these corporations, if we look at what happened with COVID and things like that. And then you had a middle class that's left in limbo. So, Grace said, "Thank you, Rhonda, for always talking about firearm training. My shooting has improved, and I'm going to get my concealed carry." Yeah, turn up, turn up, turn up. That's what's up, Grace. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. And hopefully, we're getting more and more people armed and thinking about these things, right? Because even whether it's just on an everyday thing of being there, you're gonna be there quicker. You're there, right? The officer has to get there, you know. So even the ability to feel more safe, be able to protect yourself in the event that your life is in imminent danger. Um, the possibility of us not knowing how some of these, with all these shortages and our government being unchecked, not knowing how these things could go in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a lot of good reasons, these days to be a gun owner. But not only that, just I really believe what it's done for me in a lot of ways. I believe that basic human desire to want to protect yourself, and then training to learn more and being able to do that better, just opens your mind in a lot of ways, that not only does our government fail us, how our government lies to us, right? Like these misconceptions that they would have us believe about, whether it's shoot them in the leg, or you don't need that many rounds, or why did he do this like this, right? A lot of these misconceptions when it comes to using a firearm, um, it's just so much. Even down to even seeing in other areas want to expand your skills, because you start to feel like, well, dang, like if I'm my own first responder, that don't even just mean when it comes to self-defense. If something freaking happens in America, right? How long you think like your government can literally abandon you? We've seen it happen in natural disasters with them taking forever to show up and things like that. So what it's done for me, I mean, just opened me up to a whole range of stuff. But anyway, y'all. All right, so with the gas, hopefully if you don't have to hoard, make sure you're good. Hopefully y'all are not just out here just being ridiculous with it, just hoarding like crazy. They are only suggesting that it's going to get it's only gonna be a shortage in some of those areas that I named early on and things like that. So just keep that in mind. If you like in Alaska somewhere, don't be hoarding gas, because you saw it. Shout out to my uncle that's in Alaska. All right, y'all. So let's talk about your girl, Symone Sanders. I thought this was just very interesting, and there's a lesson here. And so that's why I want to talk about this today. So this was floating a little bit on Twitter. Symone Sanders hurt at being passed over for press secretary. Symone Sanders, a senior advisor to Vice President Harris, was reportedly hurt after being passed over for the White House press secretary job, according to a wide-ranging Washington Post feature on Sanders and her fiancé, DC's Director of Culture and Nightlife, Sean Townsend. Bakari Sellers, a civil rights attorney and mutual friend of the couple, said Sanders was stung after Biden ultimately chose former Obama communications director James Psaki for the press secretary job. Sanders worked for the presidential campaign of Senator Bernie Sanders in 2016 before becoming an advisor of President Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. Townsend echoed Steller's sentiment, telling the Post she was definitely hopeful that she would have the opportunity. Steller said Sanders spent a lot of capital as senior advisor to Biden's 2020 campaign, frequently being asked to defend the candidate when the campaign had a problem with the Black community. Notably, Sanders defended Biden after he told radio host Charlamagne Tha God, "If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't Black." Why he had to put the "ain't" in there? Like, he just couldn't be like, "You aren't Black." He had to be like, "You ain't Black." Like, anyway, the remark was widely criticized. Nevertheless, Sanders took to Twitter to defend her candidate. Vice President Biden spent his career fighting alongside and for the African American community. He won his party's nomination by earning every vote and meeting people where they are, and that's exactly what he intends to do this November 1st. So, not only has Biden gone on to basically turn his back on the Black people that he said or Black women, what did he be saying? Black women saved America, or Black people, whatever. Y'all know the little stuff. Symone. So, if y'all don't remember, what makes it even more embarrassing and why I say there's a lesson here is that Symone Sanders, as a person, was getting ready to attack or possibly go towards Joe Biden. Symone Sanders ran the person off like a football player. She tackled. Now, okay, let's just be honest. And let's just think about the visual representation, of this larger, Black woman. Okay, we have short hair that is going to be attributed, sometimes to being more masculine. So we have a bigger Black woman, with short hair, broad shoulders. And she goes on to tackle a person that was about to touch, attack, assault, possibly an affluent white male. And so the interesting thing about that is Symone Sanders was the same exact person who said on record that another old white male would never make it to the presidency ever again in history. Not only did she say that, she not only turns around and works for said white man, she plays linebacker for him. Not only that, when said man turns his back on her and doesn't give her the actual position that she wants, she goes on to be disappointed by it. The funny part about it is I've been telling people, time and time again, that several of these celebrities Several of these political commentators are doing what they need to do to advance their careers. That's just what it is. They want to be press secretary. They want the prime spot. They want the spot in the administration. And unfortunately, a lot of times it will come either at their own disappointment or they're lying and misleading and manipulating the people. And it's very unfortunate. And this is why I say you can't lean on these people as personalities. You can't, you can like somebody, you can like them, you can be like, oh, the way she grew up, or, oh yeah, whatever, representation. Okay, whatever, cool. All right. Now that we got that out the way, 99.9% of these people are going on to advance their careers. That's just the truth of the matter. They're not telling you what they think you need, what they actually think you need to hear. And a lot of times they're not even telling you what they believe. When that lady got on this stage, when she stood up there on CNN and said another old white man could never be the president of the United States again, that girl didn't even mean that or think that. However, with the whole with the race issues being forefront, saying something like that, you're gonna get the clicks, you're gonna get the views, people are gonna chop this video up and share it. Now that you have a bigger interest trying to advance your career, who administration say, oh, you run for, oh, I might have a chance in the administration. What you need me to do? You need me to walk you to the car? You need me to tackle somebody for you? She got played. She got played. And, for how long do we allow people to play us, tell us, and show us who they are without us trying to make it something different, without us trying to make excuses, without us lying to make ourselves feel better about who these people are, who these politicians are? Similarly, what we have happening to Symone Sanders, we see happening to Keisha Bottoms, right? We see happening to Stacey Abrams, and some sorts being ignored, right? Are not being given positions by this administration after being propped up. Oh, you're so, we need you. You're just so important to this work. You're just bringing all the people in. You're doing this and you're doing that. And I got the position. Now riding into the sunset without you. This was the same Symone Sanders that said that, basically told black men to shut up. Your political opinion is we don't care. It's not valid. Who in your right mind? Honestly, she should have been. I believe she should have been ran out of the political spirit. Even after saying that, who do you think you are to tell people that you're about to ask to vote for somebody that their political opinions are not valid? How dare you? You the only one that can speak? Anybody can speak. We may not agree with what you're saying, but you definitely 100% can say it. As god awful and ridiculous as I think some of the things people say are, I don't say don't say it. Shut up. You're not worthy of having an opinion. Who died and made you King Symone Sanders? Who died and made you king of the black delegation, or the black man can't speak? Even after saying something like that, the nerve. And we've almost created spaces where we are, it's almost like a get back in line. It's like a gatekeeping thing. It's a gatekeeping thing. And you have to be very aware and hyper vigilant, and just kind of paying attention to see who the gatekeepers are. Oftentimes, these will be the wave riders. Whatever hot to say at the time, they're not going to go against the grain. They'll give you a little, you told him, reclaiming my time. You go, girl. You sister girl that. They'll give you that. But you really ain't said nothing to you being censored. You really have said nothing until they're pulling ad revenue. Try being censored for telling people y'all need to be armed. Even something as simple as a man is a man and a woman is a woman. If your person can't say some of these just very like obvious things, do we really believe somebody as smart as Mark Lamont Hill actually believes that men have periods? We really think that, like, for real, like for real, or do we think it's a better chance that he doesn't want to be counseled? He doesn't want to have to stand up to internet trolls. He doesn't want to have to look unfavorable to some of his base. Why is it, you know, and politics, it has its lane. I talk about politics, it has importance, right? But when you're talking about, even when we look at the amount of people getting college degrees, right? We look at all these people getting college degrees. And when you weigh that against, does a rise in college degrees also reflect the rise in economics, in value, whether it be to the workforce, whether it be to something you can create in your community to push economics, to push capital through that community? And we're not being honest. We're not talking about it. And if we are talking about it, we're doing it in a way that always benefits the system. We're never really talking about it on just a very local, communal, everyday level. We're not having real conversations. They're just very surface level conversations. And if people don't really have us questioning some of these systems, right? Even the whole council debt, council student debt, even that is so surface level because it's so temporary. It addresses this generation or whatever, this generation, But going forward, the next generation just goes into debt. Are we talking about the value or the non-value that these colleges are actually adding? Or are y'all so concerned is the truth that you are in favor of the system? You want people being dragged through these colleges, through these universities, so they can be indoctrinated with your beliefs, be more of a slave to this system. And it's not really where is the value for most of these people? We're not talking about it in a real way. It was the same thing I talked about with the abolish the police. I'm like, you're talking about the abolish the police. If we abolish the police, there's no more taxes for any of the BS that you think should be covered. Who's gonna who Bill Gates got private security. Who's gonna pull up on Bill Gates? Bill Gates people can pull up on you. They can, once again, these people will get on TV and tell you all day they're against guns. They're against guns for you. You think Bill Gates ain't protected by guns? So once we abolish the police, who's gonna freaking pay the taxes that goes towards your community center, that goes towards the Green New Deal that you want to install, that goes to this renewable energy, that goes into all the things, the new computers that you want for your school system? Like, stop the cap. Like, let's stop talking about stuff in this very just surface level hashtag CNN bullet points. I just repeat what they say without actually thinking in a holistic way about how these things would impact me, my family, and my community. If you abolish the police, and I'm not even saying I'm opposed to it, I do think in a perfect world, you would have armed citizens. We would have the ability to protect ourselves. Crimes would be reduced. And most of the stuff that we call crime today wouldn't even be crime, because we will focus on crimes with actual victims, people that are actually hurting people and imposing on their property. However, beyond that, because I don't even want to go back too deep into that, but going back to what I was saying, the rich that you hate and you want to eat any other year when it's not an election year, how they're gonna fund all your pipe dreams without the police? I don't even think the typical person in my demographic has really just conceptualized abolish the police for every, like, you don't have step 1 through 10 covered, and then people will just do this will work, without thinking about all the incremental and adverse effects and stuff. Be way deeper than a tweet. It's way deeper than a tweet. It's way deeper than a tweet. It's way deeper than your hashtag. So this is the kind of stuff that's on my mind. That I rarely. It have to be something real good for me to just engage in, that I'm like, this is a total time waster, but it's hella entertaining. Like I thought that whole Umar and Kevin Samuels thing was about to go down. I'm like, this is gonna be a guilty pleasure, but I'm getting my popcorn, okay? I'll make a little time for that. But seriously, y'all, like, I just, I just want to see people kind of moving outside of these, because I think politicians in a lot of ways is being done on a lot of levels, even with our like attention spans, and how our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter with like social media and things like that. The music is getting shorter, the YouTube videos are getting shorter. We're used to getting learning something in this 30-second TikTok or this 30-second reel. And, a lot of times people want hashtags, they want sound bites, they want headlines. And what's going to happen is, unfortunately, it's going to hurt us because you have the burden left on the politicians where they're the ones, oh, regular Americans, they don't got time for that. We'll handle it, because of course we have their best interests at heart. They don't want to think about all these details. We'll worry about that, Black introvert said Kevin Samuels and Dr. Umar need a versus battle. But these are things to think about, y'all. Let's keep going, because even going into this, BLM thing, the Tokyo Olympics. So this is according to Yahoo News. I'm sure some of you already heard about this. BLM apparel banned at the Tokyo Olympics. Athletes will not be permitted to wear BLM branded gear on the field of play or during official ceremonies. Athletes at the Tokyo Olympics will be prohibited from wearing Black Lives Matter apparel at games and ceremonies this summer, as officials have confirmed the ban on protests and political messages. The International Olympic Committee revealed its broad policy on no demonstrations on the field of play during official ceremonies and at the podium 2 weeks ago. And the Associated Press reported this week that officials have now included BLM apparel to the list of banned items. So, to my understanding, I don't think any of the bigger athletes, maybe Colin Kaepernick said something. I think Colin Kaepernick did say something. But we'll see. I don't think people like LeBron James have said anything that I know of yet. We'll see what happens. But I just really think it's, first of all, interesting, this dynamic, as we've seen it played out in American media, as like, first of all, you have the POC brigade, and then you also most recently have the Stop Asian Hate thing here, right? But then if we've kind of looked at international media or some things that have happened internationally over the past year, which included, we saw how a lot of Africans were being treated in China during like when the COVID like first happened and stuff like that. I don't know why. Another thing we never really talk about is China's relationship to Africa, like now, like currently happening. And then what we see going on in Japan here recently with BLM banning, Tokyo, Japan, the Olympics, banning BLM gear and things like this. People can have connections to other groups of people, other types of people. It happens every single day, okay? That is not something new. That is not something far-fetched, right? people from different demographics can have friendships because they can have friendships, partnerships, business relationships, whatever it may be, based on whatever these connecting factors are. So whether y'all like to talk about sports, business, politics, maybe y'all freaking kids and ballerina together, whatever it may be, right? That does not change the fact in a lot of ways I will just say mainly the Democratic Party has often used the POC brigade, that's what I call it. They've used it as propaganda. They have used this as they've really just used it in propaganda in a lot of ways. Oftentimes, it's been used to make people not only feel like their issues are the same, different communities' issues are the same, but it also makes people sometimes feel like I can't have this opinion because it's against the collective of the POC brigade, right? One of the main ways I've talked about this recently as it relates to the Black community and supporting illegal immigration. How in the Black community you have a large number of unskilled workers, right? Not unskilled workers. What y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like it could be like construction, it could be anything dealing with like at the plants, the manufacturing plants. It could be on a farm. It could be um, like cleanup work, right? And some of these things as it relates to that. Therefore, it is hurtful, and I'm not saying this is not coming from a hateful place. This is based on research. This is based on numbers, okay? This is based on you've had people, particularly like Dr. Clyde Anderson, that has based their lives of research on these type of issues, right? Along with other people, laborers. Thank you, Eric. But they were trying to paint it as almost bad for you to advocate for. These are the people I live around. Like, my neighborhood looks like this. So I want to see this community as an American citizen. I want to see this community flourish. But you turn on the TV and they will make you feel like, oh, well, you're a part of this POC brigade and it's just kumbaya and we're all holding hands and, we're all in this together. No, we're not all in this together. It's just not true. And it's not wrong to advocate for yourself and the community you are directly being impacted by. It is not wrong. Your TV has made you feel like it's wrong, and it's not. And so they will throw around these POC banners. We're all in this together. We all have the same we all have the same qualms against the white man. And the whole time, everybody wants access to they want their kids to have good education. They want to have access to food, water, and jobs. That's human nature. And then when we start getting into the more Americanized Western culture, right? You throw on all these other things, these bells and whistles that are not really when we're talking about actual quality of life and the things we need to survive, you could throw a little bit of there in there too, right? So it's not wrong to advocate for that. But you've often had the Democrats that will try to shame you or make you feel bad. And of course, you have to lump these identities together because, in a way, it's your winning ticket. It's your winning ticket. You use this as a very manipulative tool to say, it's us against them, when in actuality, on this, it's reflective from issue to issue. I'm not going to line up with you on every single issue just because you're a POC. That doesn't even make sense. But somehow they push us to believe this, and to say anything less is hateful. Right? Even seeing how they switched the narrative from before elections on, you had Black people being the biggest victim, the biggest in despair. And then, like, right after election, it went to stop Asian hate. I don't have a problem with stop Asian hate. I don't have a problem with stop Asian hate. You know what I have a problem with? The way things, events, statistics, things that we know to be true are being manipulated and skewed to push agendas. That's what I have a problem with. The manipulation. Stop trying to ride the coattails of different demographics and different movements, depending on, oh, we want to do this right now. We want to throw the alley oop here. Oh, we want to favor these people. We want to use these people right now to advance this person's political career, or to get here, or to make it look like we're doing this or we're doing that. It's the manipulation tactics. And people actually need to call this out, because it's some BS. I even got Asian people telling me, like, yeah, nah, that's like some BS. Like, even this little dog bone that they trying to throw us, like, yeah, that's yeah. Like, what is this? Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on Corey Bush. I gotta talk about that now. I gotta talk about Corey Bush now. Um, you know but to see some of these things happening internationally, and then to see what's kind of happening here and happening right in our backyards, a lot of these things it's just not adding up. It's not making sense. You have people, like I said, on Twitter, it's funny because you think that the end of America is coming in however many years. You think the people in Tokyo finna, they don't, if something goes down, you just another American. You're not special. If anybody ever occupies this territory, takes over, America goes down, woo the woo the woo, end of America, you are an American. To anybody outside of America, you are an American. I don't give a, you're an American. And don't even get me started on, in a lot of these other countries, racism also exists. So they might even look at you as a lower spectrum of American. If we just being real here, other countries are not immune to racism. So this fantasy that people just keep trying to create, like they're so removed, they're so otherized. When stuff hit the fan, you not. It may be real cute for the hashtags and Twitter games, But when it gets real, like all that, like stuff that people be talking about that don't even matter, that stuff is not gonna matter. Ask the people that's waiting in line for gas right now if they care about what's going on with Portia Williams and her housewives drama. Let's see if these athletes gonna try to defy or stand up to the Olympics like they would here to the NBA or NFL. This brings me back to what I said earlier when I was talking about the Symone Sanders thing. If they aren't consistent, even when it's not popular to do so, if they aren't consistent, even when it may not butter their bread, it's gonna really show you where they stand. To be trusted with a grain of salt, you have to be very attentive and just kind of watch, like, ain't got you. You real quiet now. Like, you real quiet now. I gotta talk about this Cori Bush thing. That wasn't even on the agenda. It should have been. So if y'all don't know, Cori Bush gave this speech or something. The term birthing people was used. This was like the day before Mother's Day or maybe 2 days before Mother's Day. Um so I talked about it a little bit on Instagram. First of all, if y'all notice, a lot of times when they say little stuff like this, they'll try to tie it in with blackness or they'll compare it with blackness. I used to say this like all the time on my YouTube channel, and I haven't said it in a while. But I said, if you want to validate any struggle or validate any social issue, all you have to do is attach the word black to it. And that's not a compliment. I'm not saying that in a favorable way. Anytime that these politicians want to validate their position, black trans people, black birthing people, right? Because of the intersectionality. If black people feel it, it got to be a real thing. There's a very serious effort to disconnect us from the idea that words have meanings, right? The connotations behind things and things like that. This was a tweet that I actually made. This was back in March. I think I said something similar on my old Twitter, but I said the sprinkling of black bodies on social justice warrior activist tirades is actually dehumanizing. And so I recently reposted that, and I said, I am a man. So if y'all don't remember, I'm talking about the I am a man from the civil rights era. I am a man was coined as a phrase and used as a declaration of civil rights, human rights, and as a personal statement of independence against oppression. Historically, terms like boy and other pejorative racist insults were used to indicate and maintain the subservient social status of Black people as less than human. Today in 2021, they are now telling us it's progressive to reduce our bodily functions and our genitalia, right? Now we're Black bodies. We're Black birthing people. So even think about the psychology behind that. And you can actually, because some people gonna say, oh, we need to be inclusive. Okay. Even with inclusiveness, you can do inclusiveness in a way that does not force people that are already identified into other identifications. Why I gotta be cis? Why I gotta be a birthing people? Why can't I just be what I always been? Now, if you wanna be that, okay. I'm not going to deny biology on my part. But if you want to say you are this, I'm not going to stop you. I don't care. I will not teach children something that is not true. But think about, you know, the, like, what really made me think about is even the idea of Black, it's like birthing farms, like factories, like Black birthing factories, like where you just had these Black women and they're nothing than their ability to make babies. Birthing people. Why don't we hear terms like white bodies and white birthing people? Have y'all ever thought about that? There's psychology behind this. No, like you can't deny it, because why else do it get very descriptive? It's very subjugating language. Can we just admit that? Can we admit that a Black person that dies, like calling them like a Black body, like it's social conditioning? Even said, try that nonsense with the Asian or Spanish community. I even had Hispanic people telling me, like, they're laughing. They think people in America are straight clowns when people be like, "Oh, we need to remove gender, and we need to what they be." It's something they trying to call Latin X, Latin X. And I know several Hispanic people that have been like, Latin what? Like my grandma slapped me side my head. I definitely don't know anybody where I'm from, well, they're Americans, but like I don't know anybody from South America that talks like Latin X. It's like a totally, a United States thing. Right. Even trying to prop people up. These little hippies, they be running around their little towns drinking Starbucks, trying to hype them up that you even know what's best for their communities in a way that these people need to speak and identify themselves. That's weird. That's odd. Thinking you know what's best. A lot of Latinos are offended by the Latinx thing. Don't use it. Think it's laughable. Bruce said the same thing I said. Spanish language is completely based on gender. Completely based on gender. Senor, senora. Imagine people so woke that they want to remove or change or manipulate your native language. That is regressive. And I've been telling y'all a lot of the things that they've been trying to package to us and sell it to us as progressive is actually regressive. First, we're birthing people. We're birthing people because we're our bodily functions. We're not just humans or being a woman, which is a encompassing term for all of the roles that the female, the woman can complete and attain. Right? Whether we're talking about partnership, motherhood, femininity, all these beautiful things. You want to just wrap it up into some birthing factory. And then you want to manipulate people's a native language and native tongue because you so woke that you don't think their gendered language should exist. You don't think it should exist in a way that it's existed for them. That's not progressive. Nobody in the comment is able to tell me why we haven't heard white bodies or white birthing people. Even they even got us in the language creating hierarchies, even in our language of how we refer to ourselves. If that's not some crazy, freaky, uncanny social programming, I don't know what is. Our realities are based off words and meaning of words because words translates into thoughts translates into ideas translate into concepts. These people know what they're doing. They are attempting to subjugate us through language. It's very regressive. So, you know, these are just some things to think about. I'm so glad Black Introvert said this. Words equal spells. This is one of the truest things, y'all. And I've recently seen this happen over like my own life. Like I would start to say I'm going to work this job. I am going to meet this person. I am going to do this. And it started like happening. I have so many examples now. It's crazy. Like, even to me, sometimes I'll be like, wow, man. I even told y'all, I remember one day telling y'all, I was like, I'm going to meet Judge Joe Brown. I'm going to meet Judge Joe Brown. At the time, and that's just something that's like, that's pretty cool. But at the time, I was just saying it. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know like how that was gonna happen. I didn't have a plan for doing that or making it happen or nothing. I just knew it was gonna happen. And I'm just casually hanging out at the event that Judge Joe Brown ends up being invited to. Like, that's just one example. I ain't even gonna share my whole life story with y'all. But I've come across people, or I would know of people and be like, I'm going to work with that person. I'm going to work for this person. I'm going to meet this person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to experience this. And just seeing that stuff transpire, man, is so beautiful. And it's such a blessing. And I want people to be aware and cognizant of what you're speaking over your life. Because like I said, those words are energy, right? Words becomes thoughts, and then thoughts become concepts. And you are either creating or destroying based on your words, right? That's a real thing, man. That's crazy. Even sometimes when I think about it now, I'm like, so, what we're saying, the things we are allowing the media, politicians to project on us. I don't give a crap what these people think. I'm not letting them project any of what they believe about me because of my hair, because of my skin color, because of my gender, they don't know me. These people don't know me. I won't allow you to speak certain things, especially tools of what I believe to be subjugation on me. Even in instances where, oh, they said this statistic, I fall in this statistic or this category, that don't mean you can't be working beyond that, or whatever, just negative type of spells that they're constantly casting through the media, through the music, man. It's real. It's real. And they know certain demographics are more susceptible to entertainment, more susceptible to music. Even thinking about Black people, man, we got hella rhythm, like love to dance, love the, music. And it's like, then you have these media agencies hyping up some of the worst music. Death in the music, death, propaganda, promiscuity, stupidity. And I know there's people that can listen to this music. Oh, I'm okay. I'm whatever, whatever. Thinking about the tons of people that are not, right? And I don't advocate for people not having the freedom of speech. If the baby or whoever, whatever the blue boy, young blue, whatever these people name, or I don't know, want to rap about whatever they want to rap about. I mean, but that's them. Can't stop them, wouldn't want to stop them. It's a freedom thing. However, I just hate the lies and the manipulation. I will never sit here and pretend like it doesn't matter. I won't do it. I won't lie and say when I have worked in the public school systems, I've seen the kids, I've seen how some grown people have responded to music. I can never lie. I don't I can never lie and act like it's not impacting people. Blueface. I think I called him Young Blue. Uh, but I can never act like those spells that and it's not the music is not the only thing, right? There's obvious other factors that includes the way or the direction that a child's life may take, right? Going into being a teenager and then going into adulthood. There's going to be way more factors in the music. But let's stop acting like music isn't hella influential. We know it is. That's a big reason why they ask these musicians to be your leaders, to go meet at the White House, to go take the vaccine. They know these entertainers are very influential. They know the music is influential. This is why they sponsor the hottest trends they want y'all to wear. Beyonce, I hope she got some kind of kickback for that OnlyFans shout out. Beyonce said OnlyFans one time in a song, and you had every regular day girls just jumping on OnlyFans like it's the thing to do. Okay, I mean if you want to do that, like you're grown, whatever. But like, let's not sit here and pretend like that's not a ripple. That's not a wave that causes an effect. These things are interconnected in a lot of ways. Everybody was on demon time for a little while. You know, it's a reason why they shout out "do say" in the music. It's a reason why Jay-Z will get on a song and talk about how great Tidal is. Because they know, put it in a song, people will buy, people will support, people will promote it, people will do it. Do said Molly in a song before I know it. People I know personally talking about I'm thinking about taking Molly, and I'm thinking like, are you crazy? Like you that impressionable, like for real, like as a whole adult, like really? Protocol said, I'm a DJ by trade, and I walked away from that side of the industry because that music does shape people. These artists are the new preachers. Y'all remember when they used to play like Waka Flocka, and it was somebody else that had this like kind of just very like just deep dungeon hip hop music that would like make people fight. I don't want to say make people because it's almost as if you like I'm not taking away the blame from individuals, but I distinctly remember around that time people saying like people in my inner circle, saying like you turn on that song, a fight gonna break out. It was kind of like you just knew it. Like it just kind of came with the territory. Right? Um, so Chief Keef. Yeah, Chief Keef, right? So, these are things that I don't think we can ignore. And I think when we do talk about them, it can't be in a very surface level way. It has to be a very like, holistic, not like a hashtaggy, like trendy way, but some of the pros and cons and how these things are affecting us, on a larger level. M said, "Nuck if you bug." Right? People still go crazy when that song comes on. I don't know if people fight like they used to fight, when that song used to come on, but that's still like people still love that song. Racer X said the power of words is the reason I listen to you. You are a free thinker and challenge the status quo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Um, you know, but yeah, y'all, like some of this stuff has just been weighing on me as it relates to, and I could tell I've been doing a lot of deep thinking tonight because I've been like looking out into space because I'm really thinking about some of these concepts and how you know unprepared a lot of us are, how impressionable, easy to manipulate, and just oftentimes being used for other people's agendas, whether it's these corporations, where it's an entertainer trying to pad their pockets or advance their career, or if it's somebody that really wants a press secretary job, or whether it's a political candidate using his POC brigade, or the I do care about this, and then you get in office and switch up. It's like you have these things happening, but then you have, on top of the lockdowns that we saw last year, then we saw that Texas snowstorm, and now, we're getting hints at possible gas shortages and all these other things happening. And it's like, maybe we need to focus and hone some of these things in and really figure out the things that are important. And it's crazy because I remember last year telling people, I was like, y'all, this lockdown is actually, a positive to take from it is this is actually a good time to be attentive to some of the niches, right? That and the things that are just the most important. Even when the world shuts down, what are the industries that aren't going anywhere? What do people really need from day to day? Those are things that we need to be thinking about as relates to skills. Those are things we need to be thinking about as it relates to stocking up on things. So when things happen, we're not having a hoard and things like this. But there's been a lot of lessons to learn out of some of these things happening, lately. But anyway, so and said war for oil coming up. Y'all naming all the songs they used to have everybody jumping, fighting in the club, cause whatever song came on. I'm like, that's wild, but music is powerful, man. Music is powerful. It can make you sad. It can make you happy. It can make you want to dance. It could be nostalgic. It can make you think. Music is powerful, and they know that. They know that. They know that. But all right, y'all. So thank y'all for rocking with me. I am about to get out of here. Thank y'all for rocking with me every Tuesday. Thank you. Special thank you to everyone that super chatted. I thank you guys so much. Thank you to my patrons. I thank y'all for supporting my content. To my VIP patrons, Ray Ray and Daniel. I think Ray Ray was in here earlier. Also, y'all know I have all of my merch below. In my links below, and we will be talking soon. Y'all have a good night. Hopefully we'll see what happens with this whole gas thing. I hope, we can only hope they're being honest about well, it won't be that bad, maybe just in these main areas, but it never hurts to be prepared. But all right, y'all, have a good night. Bye.